All right. All right. So what's up mga ka-investa? Welcome back to another episode of the Invest to Learn Business Talk. And once again, we have a very special guest, Mr. Paco Magsaysay. Welcome, sir.
Hi.
All right. Maraming salamat for being part of the show. Again, this is where we interview, deconstruct, and get inspiration from very successful Filipino entrepreneurs. So last week, we also had Mr. John Magsaysay of Potato Corner. And sobrang coincidence because I contacted you, Sir Paco. But I didn't really know that you are related to Sir Jomag.
Yeah.
Yes. So wala lang, small world lang. So how have you been doing right now during the ECQ, during the lockdown, sir?
Just keeping busy. I mean, the first month of the lockdown was really a wait and see period. Wait and see, meaning how things were gonna go. How were you gonna feel being locked in your house for 24/7? And then I think after the first 4 to 6 weeks, and you start understanding that things are going to be very different, moving forward, and you need to start making adjustments, because if you try to sell the same way you used to sell before, it's a different world now. So it's just really keeping busy and trying to see how we can adjust to the new norm, as people are saying, the new norm.
All right. So how have you been doing now? Are you with your family? Have you been spending time with them recently?
Yeah, I'm 52 years old, so I'm a little bit scared to catch the COVID. So I've been trying to stay at home more than other people seem to be going out a little bit. But I really try to stay home and just keep busy in the house, do work, communicate with our staff, and interact with some of the resellers. Because our resellers are also having a difficult time selling now.
Yes.
So it's really just keeping busy and trying to be productive.
All right. So one big factor ngayon is yung pandemic, no, sir. But we'll try to dive into how we can adapt to the new normal. But for now, let's start with Carmen's Best. So if you guys don't know yet, Carmen's Best is the leading premium ice cream brand in the Philippines. So, sir, can you tell us more about how the company started so that our audience knows how you brought Carmen's Best to life back in 2011?
Okay. Well, the story actually begins in 2007 when my father and a few of his friends put up a dairy farm in Bai, Laguna. So Bai is next to the International Rice Institute and UP Los Baños. So we put up a dairy farm there. We long-term leased 27 hectares of land there from a family. So that was a 25 back-to-back 25 long-term lease. So we built the milking parlor, the barn, to set up the dairy farm. Now in 2009, we incorporated a company called Carmens Best Dairy Products, because we did not know we were going to make ice cream. Talagang dairy products lang ang iniisip namin, no? So initially we were making flavored milk, mga yogurt, and even pastillas, no, which it's not very exciting. I mean, to say that you're selling pastillas is not a very exciting thing to say, no. But then when I made ice cream, I made ice cream in the kitchen, and it was just amazing, using the fresh milk and the ingredients that we had in mind that we were going to be using, and it was really, it floored me, the taste, no. So moving forward, we decided not to sell anything else but ice cream, just to concentrate on ice cream, and our goal was to make as many people try it. That's the goal. Just make people try the ice cream, because that's how different our ice cream is compared to others now. Have you tried our ice cream?
Actually, sir, I haven't had one in a long time.
Okay, but you did them before.
I actually ordered today. So it's gonna arrive in a few minutes.
Okay.
So that I can show you na I'm trying it, and I can have like a tasting.
A spoon, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even for us, I think with one spoon full, you can tell na the quality of anything. It doesn't have to be ice cream only, but just one spoon of whether it's leche flan or it's a spoon of paella or a spoon of soup, you can already tell the quality or how different the product is. No?
Yes.
So when we really first started, my goal was to make as many people try our ice cream as possible. So I was doing a lot of free tasting, sampling in the Saturday market in Makati, the Salcedo market. I was going to a lot of events, sponsoring it, and giving out free ice cream, and that's how we built our brand. We started with a small base, and these people started telling their friends and family about our product, and that's how we really wanted to sell, was for people to sell our product. We don't spend so much in advertising. We then spend so much in below the line type of advertising. We want our customers to be our brand ambassadors. So we make it in a way that when they try it, they really push it to their friends and family.
And how long did that take for people to start picking up on their own?
Well, like you haven't even tried our ice cream, so it shows you. But you've known about it.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of people know about it, but they think it's normal ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did not spend the last 12 years of my life to make normal ice cream. I wanted to make exceptional ice cream. That's why we are selling in Singapore, because we are competing on quality. Nobody knows who I am in Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows who Carmen is in Singapore. But when they try it, they like it because of the quality, not because who makes it or it's named after this person or that person. It's all about quality. So from day one, that's how we started our business. That we're going to make the best ice cream we can make. But it's going to cost some money to make expensive ice cream, because the ingredients are different. The process is different. You don't pump much air into it. So even our ice cream, when it melts, it doesn't go down because we don't intentionally pump air into our ice cream to save cost on product. So there's so many factors to make very good ice cream. And all those factors, we address it to make the best possible product we can come up with.
All right. So most other ice cream brands, they pump air into their ice cream to make it more to
No, to make it less expensive for them. Because what happens when a cup of your mass-produced ice cream that you buy in the grocery, what happens when it melts? It's less than half, right? That means you're paying for air. People don't understand that. Half of what you're paying with commercial ice cream is air.
all right.
So how much is that? Even though it's mura, you're only actually paying for less than half of what you're getting. Whereas with our product, yeah, it's more expensive, but what do you get for it? So people don't understand. They don't appreciate, the process. They don't appreciate the ingredients and what's behind the product. And we made it in a way that you don't have to understand the science part of ice cream, but it's just when you try it, it's already different. You'll know. And that's how we've grown the business. I mean, more people try it, more people keep on buying it. So those who refuse to buy it are really not our market. These are the people who refuse to spend X amount for a cup of ice cream. Then I'm not looking to sell to them. I'll be committed to my base customers. And it's not that many. I mean, we're targeting the A and B market. And that's the smallest market segment in the Philippines, right? The largest segment is the C, D, and E market. But I'm not catering to those guys. If I start catering to those guys, then I have to play the rules of the big players. And I cannot compete with them. Diba? So for me, let me play my game. Let me be in this arena of super premium ice cream. And those who want super premium ice cream, they come to me.
All right. All right. So when you talk about your primary market, how did you start to discover that I want to focus on this kind of market? I want to become a premium ice cream instead of scaling it into and just pump air like everyone else does.
Well, first of all, I wanted to make a product that I would eat. So
Okay.
I was the first target. I was the first target market of how we were gonna make the ice cream. So when I first tried making the ice cream, making it in the kitchen, I made the strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla, the usual flavors, no. And even with that, I already felt that wow, this is this is so different from any ice cream I've tried in my life, and this is how I want to sell. This is what I want to sell because it's gonna sell. I know this is gonna sell because it's so different, you know. And then also you have to look at your supply. We were using fresh milk from our own farm. We don't have unlimited milk. You know, we only have X number thousands of liters of milk a day. So I couldn't go mass market. You know, there's no way I can do mass market if you have limited supply of your milk, right? So that already told me that I can't make so much ice cream. I have to work with what we have. So in working with what we have, that's how we really concentrated on making the best possible product ever. And we've been doing it since day one.
All
Did
right.
I answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Tama, sir.
Yeah.
So aside from being the premium ice cream brand, no, I can see that a large part of your market are also women
Yeah.
because I got it from, of course, the name Carmen's
Yeah.
Best, and then you also have a lot of flavors pertaining to like he's not worth it or something like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
how did you discover now? Oh, I should be marketing this more to women
Women.
than men. Yeah.
Okay, so when we first started in 2011, February of 2011, that's when Facebook was really ramping up. I think the users of Facebook they were really coming into to use Facebook, and Facebook was also looking for content. Um, I put up a fan page in Facebook for Carmen's Best, and you can see the analytics there. It tells you where the people are from, the age range. It tells you male or female. Then I saw that 75% of the people who like our page are female. I was
Mm.
shocked. You know, I was like, wow, ang dami palang. Then I realized that dessert is really more for women. You know, like cakes and ice cream, pastries. Whereas men sort of tend to spend their money on alcohol or tobacco. You know, I mean that's more of a preference. No? So in understanding that, kasi there's a funny story behind the he's not worth it. Eh. I would hang out in one of our resellers. I try to patronize our resellers. No? So I'll hang out in their coffee shop or I visit the restaurants. I buy in that particular grocery because they sell our ice cream. So I try to patronize our resellers. So at that time, we just got a chain of coffee shops, Toby's Estate. So Toby's Estate opened in Makati, and you know it was relatively near our office. So I would hang out there, and have my meetings there. And then they started carrying our ice cream, and they're using our milk for their coffee. You know? So you know, like every once in a while, I'll stand up, I'll talk to people. Hey, have you tried our ice cream? I supply the ice cream here. You know, all these things. And I would get feedback like, you know, my friend was feeling bad the other week, and she was eating your ice cream, and it made her feel better. You know, and then that same afternoon, this other lady said, my friend, she broke up with her boyfriend, and she was feeling bad, and she started eating your ice cream. And I said, oh wow. I said, maybe there's something here. You know, there's some correlation that I can get from this thing. So it was a very informal survey that I did. And I remember the book that came out several years ago called He's Not That Into You. There's a book that came out that became a New York Times bestseller called He's Not That Into You. So I sort of just changed the words around and I said, he's not worth it.
Mm.
So I asked some people, so of course some women, like what type of flavor should this be? You know, what should a flavor that when women feel bad and they eat ice cream, what flavor should it be?
Yes. What flavor?
And it should be very rich and decadent and chocolate and you know. And I was thinking, oh, that's a Mississippi mud pie, right? So a Mississippi mud pie is actually the recipe of He's Not Worth It. So it's dark chocolate, fudge, nuts, brownie. So that's what He's Not Worth It. It's actually a Mississippi mud pie. So if I had called it a Mississippi mud pie, I would need to explain it anyway. So I just call it He's Not Worth It. and people love it, you know. So that's how that flavor came about. But I mean, there's really, you know, when we grew our business, there's really not much scientific or study behind it. Parang it was more on my professors in AIM will get mad, but it was more on gut feel. Because when we started the business, we had no idea it was going to grow. I mean, we were just looking to sell in the village, in the village where we live. And, we were tracking the number of flavors or what flavors we're selling. What was our top selling flavor in January or February of 2011? What was the top selling in March of 2011? We don't know that because we weren't taking down notes. We weren't recording what was being sold. It was only after 3 or 4 years that we really started taking the business seriously and said, hey, there's a little bit of a momentum going on here, and maybe I should take a proper class on how to make ice cream and really learn how to do it. So so we really started taking things seriously after the second or third year.
Okay, so by now you know a lot about ice cream na, and you've been telling me that you started learning on how to make your ice cream in the kitchen pa lang, diba, sir?
Yes.
So, can you tell us more on the learning process? How did you start learning more about the process of making ice cream?
Well, I think we're sort of seeing that now with all these people getting into baking and cooking and posting videos in YouTube and Facebook. So it's just really being curious, and in my case, I learned how to make ice cream by watching YouTube videos. Which I mean, a lot of people watch YouTube videos to make the proper omelette, how to cook a steak, how to make French toast or pancakes. It's all in YouTube. So when I started learning how to make ice cream and I turned to YouTube on how to make it. So just making it that way, it was already good. But then when I took the proper class on how to really make proper ice cream, that's when it really took off. I mean, this was around 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And tamang-tama, 2012, nag-pull out ang Häagen-Dazs sa Philippines. So 2012, the company that owned Häagen-Dazs, which is General Mills, they own Pillsbury and other big brands from the US. They pulled out of the country. So when they pulled out of the country, it was really timing for us kasi they pulled out, I think, second or third quarter of 2012. Kami naman, we came into the market first quarter of 2011. So parang we were already in the market. People kind of knew about us, and my goal was to make it better than Häagen-Dazs, no? So in making it better than Häagen-Dazs, I couldn't naman sell it higher than Häagen-Dazs. I had to make it lower, the price, no? So Häagen-Dazs at that time was selling ice cream at, if I'm not mistaken, it was 400. So 400 pesos for a pint of ice cream, 10, 12 years ago was a lot of money, So we came out with a 350 peso pint at that time. But so we were lower than Häagen-Dazs. And we were giving out a lot of samples for people to try. We were doing a lot of events at that time. So that's how the ice cream came about. But 2013, I took a class in Penn State. Now Penn State is an agricultural school in the US that's known for, they're known for the ice cream short course, and that's where Ben and Jerry studied. So I studied where Ben and Jerry's studied back in 2013.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's in Pennsylvania, tama ba, sir?
Yes, it's in Pennsylvania.
Okay. So after that, you started working on your ice cream again, and then created
so
more.
we reformulated, to have a balanced product, because not all ingredients work well with ice cream. Diba? Example lang, the way ice cream is made, it has more cream than milk. You look at gelato has more milk than cream. That's why the flavor profile of gelato is very different from that of ice cream. Ice cream is more nuts and chocolate, right? Because it has a higher fat content. So the taste of nuts and chocolate can sort of pierce the fat. Whereas gelato is more fruity. Mga melon, grape, diba? Lemon, mango. So on gelato, it's a lighter, lower fat product. And that's why the flavor profile is more fruits naman. So that's the difference of the science side of ice cream, gelato, and low fat ice cream, high fat ice cream, and so on. Low overrun, high overrun, which is the air I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm getting technical.
It's okay, it's
Sorry.
okay. Baka may
Sorry.
mga ice cream enthusiast na nakikinig
Yeah.
ngayon. Alright,
Yeah.
so let's dig into the business model naman, sir. So right now, when I look into your website, you actually have so many resellers and you have one in Singapore, like you said kanina.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit more about the business model? What makes Carmen's Best a sustainable and successful business here in the Philippines?
Well, that's a very broad question to ask. No? But I think we grew our business by it was really baby steps. I mean, we were going one account at a time, and visiting restaurants. We were visiting coffee shops, and you were knocking at doors. It's not like people were calling you. I mean, now people have an idea of what Carmen's Best is, so it's a lot easier to sell it now because people know of it, or they've at least tried it. But back then it was very difficult. I mean, I'm not a culinary person. I didn't study culinary. I didn't study pastry. I don't own a restaurant. I mean, people don't know me as a food, like a critic or whatnot. I just like to eat. So I just made my hobby of eating ice cream, which I love to eat ice cream. I made it to a business. So when I would talk to people, whether it's chefs or restaurant owners, and so the restaurants I would try to have a sales call with would be the little bit higher restaurants. I couldn't sell it to restaurants that sell their food at under $100, and then my ice cream was more than $100 already, diba? So it was also easier to sort of weed out the prospects, kasi you were just dealing with a smaller group of restaurants or a smaller market of clients, potential clients. And most of these people, whether relatives know, friends know, or you went to school with them or whatnot, and you always try to get the low-hanging fruit, right? What does that mean? You try to get the account that's easiest to close. Once you get the accounts that's easiest to close, then you go from there. You move, whether you move geographically, whether it's restaurants or coffee shops or groceries around the area, para pag binagsak na ng truck mo yung ice cream doon, malalapit na yung mga ibang account, di ba?
Mhm.
Like, you don't want to get an account halfway across town and there's only one guy there
Yeah.
because lugi ka na. So geographically, we would try to close accounts. So once we get one account in, let's say, Salcedo Village, iikutin na namin yung Salcedo Village para yung truck namin, pag bagsak ng isa doon, hopefully he can do another 3 or 4 deliveries within a certain radius, right? Another way of doing it was by industry. So you close one account, that's let's say a coffee shop, then you talk to the other coffee shops that, hey, we have this coffee shop. Would you be open to carry our ice cream, so and so forth, right? So that was another way of looking at it, was through through industry. You can even be as specific as, like, let's say you close an account that's a Japanese restaurant. Then you start hitting other Japanese restaurants and promoting your green tea ice cream because you use a special matcha powder that is not bitter, and you start explaining about the matcha and the process. So the people who will buy into your idea or buy into your ice cream are the people who are looking for high quality. Kasi kung ang tingin nila is padamihan ng benta, kukunin nila sa ikot, that's not my game. That's not my market. Diba? So even just looking at the menu of a restaurant, you already know whether you should approach them to carry the ice cream or not, because you already know by looking at their menu items whether ay pasok ba yung product ko dito o hindi, diba? So doon lang alam mo na eh.
All right.
I hope
So
I answered your question.
yeah.
Okay.
So more on trying to become more efficient when looking into geographical areas, no? So dito sa area na to, dito ko ifo-focus yung force ng sales ko. So dito ko hahanapin yung mga accounts.
Yeah.
And trying to get to know your customer talaga. So if it's Japanese, try to look into their culture, like sa green tea.
Yeah.
Diba, sir? All right. So a big portion of the sales of your ice cream come from airlines, hotels, resorts, sir.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, we have a situation ngayon, which is
Yes.
the health pandemic. So, what have you been doing um to adapt to this situation, sir?
Okay. So yeah. So the first 4 weeks, as I was saying, you're
Yes.
sort of waiting and seeing what's happening and where this is going, and you start to realize, oh my goodness, ang laki ng tama sa restaurant business ito, ang laki ng tama sa coffee shops, ang laki ng tama sa hotel hotel industry, sa tourism, ang laki ng tama sa airlines, di ba? And that's more than 50% of my market, And so for me, it's always good to think with a clear mind, Kasi once you start, how do you say, stressing yourself out or panicking, that's when you stop thinking clearly, right? So as much as possible, you sort of, just let things ride out and try to figure out uh, what next step to do. And in doing that, I noticed my behavior changed. My behavior in terms of, prior to the pandemic, I didn't know how to use online banking, like how to transfer bank to bank, to buy all these things from the Viber groups. I didn't know how to do that. And I kept on asking my secretary to pay this and to pay that. Nahiya na ako kasi I was constantly telling, oh, you pay this, pay that. And I said, I got to learn how to do this. So I learned how to do it. And I'm using this Union Bank app because it's so easy to use. Parang it's made for people who are not used to using tech for bank payments, right? So I've gotten used to using my mobile banking app to pay for whether it's seafood, fruits, vegetables, which I never did before. I mean, you'd only buy seafood, fruits, and vegetables from the grocery or the palengke, di ba? But now you're buying it from people who are dropping it off in your house or you're picking it up in somebody's house. And I noticed that the behavior of people changed on how they consume or they buy products. Kasi nag-iba yung akin eh. Diba? So sabi ko, nako, baka this is a good time to start selling yung talagang per community, per village. And I remember the first few weeks of the lockdown in our village, you couldn't even go in and out. So even if you wanted ice cream, if it's not in the village, you can't get it, right? There's no way you can have it brought in. Even though I own a plant which is maybe 10 kilometers down the road, I can't have the ice cream brought in because nothing was allowed in the village, right? So I realized I should put up community resellers. Put up community resellers in the different villages. So naglagay ako ng ads sa Facebook ko. Nagulat ako, ang dami nag-reply sa akin that they wanted to be a community reseller of Carmens Best. And I guess because of the situation, maybe their jobs are a little bit in jeopardy. Maybe their businesses like mine is a little bit compromised because of what's happening. So they're looking at other things to sell. And here I come with an opportunity for them to earn a little bit of money, right? So say, hey, if you guys want to sell Carmen's Best, we're looking for community resellers. Ang ganda ng response ng community resellers. And, for me, I'd prefer to have people come to me than me approach them. Because the few times that I've approached people to sell our product, it's not been good. Because, number one, they don't feel that the product is worth it or they don't feel that they can sell it. So for me, I want you to think about it first. I want you to parang go through the process of how are you going to sell it? Who are you going to sell to? Can you sell it or not in your area? Then you approach me. But I am not going to come to you and tell you, hey, you know what? You can sell my product and you can do good with it. I'm not going to do that. Because more likely than not, they're not going to sell well. Diba? Kasi nanggagaling sa'yo yung energy eh. Hindi yung energy nanggagaling sa kanila.
Yes.
For me, I'd rather think about it. If you don't think it's a good fit, then don't sell it, right? But if you feel that you have a market, that you feel that you can sell it, then let's talk. Let's talk about it. So that's, for me, it's all about being blessed and helping people as much as you can. And maybe I got some divine intervention and my mind got clear the last 4 to 6 weeks. And I go, oh, wow, let's come up with community resellers. So, and yeah, so it's really, you just kind of have to go with the flow and see how things will work out. Because being in a panic mode is not going to help anyone. You have to think clearly and think, um, in a way that will sort of go with the times. When you do your pivot, you have to be pivoting in a sense that this is how things are going to be from now on.
All right. All right. So for those who are interested in becoming community resellers, do you have any requirements, any minimum if they want to start selling their
Yun nga eh. So, so what we did was, parang you just have to pay a security deposit of 8,000 pesos. And then your stock, you don't even have to stock. So, meaning, hindi ka nga maglalabas ng pera mo. Just get orders from your village.
Okay.
Then you aggregate it. That the money that is paid to you, you'll remit it to us. And that's how we determine what we will send you. But you ask your clients what flavors they like, diba? Para they can get to choose what flavors that they want to eat.
Alright.
So even that walang puhunan, diba? And so we'll see. We'll go from there. I mean, more people are buying stuff through all these Viber groups or online or delivered. So hopefully we can sort of close the gap, Kasi right now, we're just looking to break even. I mean, a lot of businesses are shutting down, but our goal is to, hey, let's break even. Let's just break even. I mean, if we break even, it's a success already, So, yeah.
All right. So, syempre nag-iba na yung times ngayon. But for now, do you have any future plans or major goals that you want Carmen's Best to achieve?
I think we have to muna. I mean, what's happening now, the immediate situation, and I mean the next several months or even couple of years, we have to see if we can survive this. As much as possible, I'd like to think that a lot of people still look for quality products and quality ice cream. And
so, aside from the business side naman, we also want to know more about you and how you grew up to become this person. So can we go back to the roots naman and how your upbringing was?
Okay, well, my parents separated when I was a very young age. I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old. And the reason I bring it up is because that made me, my mom moved to the US. So since they separated, my mom moved to the US. So I went with her to the US. I was 12 years old at that time. You're 12 years old. You're not even a teenager. It's not like you say, hey, Filipino ako, gusto kong lumaki sa Pilipinas. It's not naman like that. Diba? I mean, you're 12 years old. You just go where your mom takes you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I went with her to the US along with my sister. And I ended up staying there for another 13 years. So from the age of 12 to 25, I was living in the US. So I pretty much grew up in the US. And yeah, so I kind of have a different exposure to food, especially to ice cream. So when you talk to me about ice cream, the flavors I think of are the flavors we have in Carmen's Best. I don't really think of ube, makapon. I don't think of that so much, although we have that now. But the first few years, I mean, you talk to me about ice cream, and I'm talking about butter pecan, I'm talking about coffee ice cream, I'm talking about, so it's butterscotch, it's not the traditional flavors that you would think of, So I guess my exposure or my spending so much time in the US, it gave me a different perspective, not only with flavors, but even how to your work ethic. I mean, how hard you work. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty intense. I'm an intense person. Growing up in the US, you kind of tend to be intense and you work hard and all that. But I noticed that in majority of Filipinos are very laid back or very laid back. so and I also noticed that Pinoys don't like intense people, right? So I had to sort of I had to hide it. I had to hide my intensity by cracking a lot of jokes and smiling all the time and stuff. And but when it's time to work, I mean, there's no other way. But you really have to put in the hours when you're starting a new business. I mean, the amount of hours she'll put in, it's insane, and it's so much that it starts compromising um, the other aspects of your life. You know, whether it's relationships with your loved ones or your. Because I mean, I was working Sundays also,
Wow.
and that's when we normally have our Sunday family lunch. You know, so I would skip Sunday lunch. I'd be working Saturdays. I'm in the Saturday market. You know, so it was I mean, it was for a few years. I'm just starting the business. It was so difficult because you don't have enough money to hire people, so you have to do it yourself. You don't have money to hire production people, so you're doing it yourself. You know, you don't have money to hire drivers and whatnot, so your driver who normally drives for you is doing the deliveries, and you're taking a cab or a jeep to your next meeting or what, you know. So there's a lot of sacrifice. I mean, it's not like you can hang out, go out on weekends, and do your vacations. I mean, it's really the first few years of putting up a business is it's no joke. You know, I mean, that's why there's so many businesses that shut down because there's so many factors that work against you. And you know, I just feel that because of my hard work and siguro my different outlook and also my faith, you know, I just sort of I wasn't expecting so much. I didn't even know this thing was going to grow. As I was telling you earlier, the first 2 years we were just kind of playing around. You know, we were just making ice cream, and we were not looking so much of how much money we were making. You know, that was not the point. The point was we wanted to make a very good product. We wanted to be an example of what you could do with dairy products. That was really the idea. We wanted to be an example of what you can do with dairy products that you can make into a business. So parang kami yung yung how do you say, kami yung case study on what you can do with the dairy to make good, whether it's cake or it's yogurt or whatever, using fresh milk. Kasi wala masyadong fresh milk available sa Pilipinas. In fact, our dairy needs in our country, we bring in 99.6% of the dairy needs, and most of that is powdered milk. That's why Pinoys, when they drink milk, they think of Clim or they think of birch tea. It's all powdered because that's what's available to the public, right? But why do you think the same Filipino who will go to Australia, or the same Filipino who will go to the US, or the same Filipino who will go to the Netherlands, who has access to fresh milk, when they start drinking it every day, they come back to the Philippines, they're huge. Because it's the milk. It's the milk. That's what makes it different. It's the milk, right? So, you know, people don't understand that here, that the milk is very nutritious and it will make products taste very different from using powdered. That's why we always stress, we use fresh milk for our ice cream. Because that changes totally the taste of the product than using powdered. Because most of the big companies, they use powdered. Wala naman silang access sa fresh milk eh. Diba? So these are the things that make Carmens Best different. And that's what also makes it more tasty, or mas masarap siya. Yeah. So that's what we're looking for. People who will appreciate the taste and the quality that we give. We're not looking to sell a lot because we're selling it at a price where majority of the consumers are willing to pay for it. No, we're selling a product that is very high in quality and very good, excellent, that if you want something good, that it's a treat, talagang itong kakainin mo. Diba? So yun yung idea namin. Yun yung market namin.
All right. And obviously you get the supply of milk from your own farm, like you said kanina.
We work with our farm, and we work with another farm that supplies us milk. But when we get milk from other farms, or farm singular, we have milk analyzers. So we can tell whether binuhusan ng tubig yan o hindi, or dinagdagan ng powdered milk and water. Malalaman namin yun based on milk analyzers. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng produkto single origin lang eh, di ba? I mean, when you hear about single origin, you think of coffee beans, you think of you think of milk. But with milk, you really need to aggregate other farms and make sure that you work with a farmer that has the same mindset as you in terms of quality. Diba? So just because you're working with a second or a third farm, it doesn't mean that your quality goes down. Because you're analyzing their milk naman, you're checking it eh. So if it doesn't pass the milk the milk analyzer, the test is not good, we reject it. So they have to keep it at a certain level for us to accept the milk. Kasi hindi rin magagawa namin ng yogurt or ng kesong puti. Diba? Kasi masyado nilang dinilute or masyado nilang binawasan yung quality ng product nila. So we really have to test the product.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Do you have any advice to those who want to become entrepreneurs as a person who have been through all of those things na?
Well, I think it's really important to find out more about yourself first. No? Kasi if you're the type who can't put in a lot of time working, then don't be an entrepreneur, because it's gonna entail a lot of time off your work, time off your life to make it grow or to make it succeed. No? There's nothing wrong with working in a corporation and working 60, 80 hours a week and working hard, but work in an organization, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I can totally appreciate it, and many people live that life, right? But only a few crazy people are entrepreneurs. So because it takes a little bit of craziness in you to really to make something work from scratch. The amount of time needed to put in, the ideas or the concepts or even the way you do things. You can't do it the traditional way. Diba? So, talaga, it's maraming diskarte and, Secondly, don't chase the money. Now, why I say don't chase the money? Kasi people say, oh, anong racket natin? Anong magandang, sa tayo pwede kumita? Pag racket ang hanap mo, pag pera lang ang habol mo, more likely than not, you'll get into something that you don't really enjoy doing. Diba?
Yes.
So, you start doing something that you don't really enjoy because ang habol mo lang is the racket or ang habol mo lang is the pera, only to realize you have to spend a lot of time doing it. Then you say, oh my God, I have to spend so much time doing this to make the money that I want to make. And you realize, I don't want to spend that much time doing this. Or you're hating every minute of it, and you wake up in the morning and you don't want to go to work or you don't want to do it. You can't wait for the weekend, so you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So for me, don't run after the money. I mean, run after something. For me, do something you enjoy doing, something that parang to the point that you don't feel like you're working anymore. Mm-hmm. Diba? When you get to that point, then you can do 7 days a week because you do feel like you're not working. You're working 10, 12 hours a day, but for you, it's not work. You're enjoying, you're having fun, right? So when you get to that point, your level of peace is amazing because you're not trying to impress anybody. You're not fooling anyone. You're treating people well. You're doing what you enjoy. Oh my God, there's no stress. So for me, when you get to that level, it's just it's an incredible feeling. Incredible feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So first is be crazy.
Being a little bit only, a little bit crazy.
A little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And then don't chase the money.
Yeah.
Love what you're doing. And I can see that in your face, sir, as you are sharing your story.
Yeah.
Sobrang nakikita ko yung passion and talaga to your business.
Yeah. So now you're dying to try the ice cream.
Yes. I am.
Yeah, see, that's why guys don't normally buy our ice cream, even though they've heard about it.
Really?
People talk about it, but the guys really don't. But girls are more likely to try it.
Yeah, actually, I asked help from my girlfriend. She's actually the one trying to get the ice cream for me right now.
Has she tried it?
Yeah.
Okay.
She likes it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So a little bit more so that we are still respectful of your time. I know you are a very busy person. Do you have any favorite books that come to mind?
Well, I read a book a couple of months ago, but it's not about business.
Mm-hmm.
It's called my memory is failing me now, but Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, it relates to what things are going on now. How at that time, this is like the late 60s, 70s, and 80s, when the US would send economic hitmen to different countries, would propose to build the airport or electric grids or the freeway system or whatnot, and saddle them with incredible debt through the World Bank,
Mm-hmm.
and these countries would not be able to pay it back. And in turn, they have to give rights to the US, their UN vote and whatnot, which now, what's happening now is that's what China is doing, right? China is doing that now by giving so much capital and debt to all these different countries. And now these countries are so indebted to China that parang they have their hands tied to them. And, sadly, we are one of those countries. And if you look at the map of all the countries that they're helping out, it's like the new Silk Road. They actually are not just doing helping out countries or quote unquote helping countries just randomly. They have targeted countries in the world who they want to offer the help to. And if you notice, even in Africa, marami silang ginagawang ganito sa Pilipinas na there are mining companies in Africa that are all Chinese owned, and they own the ports and whatnot. I mean, it's not just the Philippines, but it's a big thing of what China is doing now. It's what I guess they learned it from the US. The US did it before, and now China's doing it. So, but in terms of business books, I tend to read books on Howard Schultz of Starbucks. I think his business model is something that I like to follow. Not that we have a lot of shops. I mean, Starbucks doesn't really do wholesale. They're more of a retail concept.
Yes.
But I like how he approaches things. And on the goofy side of the business, I like to read the Richard Branson books. So Richard Branson of Virgin Group. He does things very non-traditional. So entrepreneur, non-traditional. So even the people that you follow, like Simon Sinek, I like to watch Simon Sinek videos. So you have to check who matches your personality, one, and who matches the style that you want to emulate. I mean, I'm not very much of I appreciate Elon Musk, but yung style niya iba. Iba. But man, the guy works like, I think, 120 hours a week or something. The guy works so much also. I mean, so I mean, you pretty much appreciate and sort of look up to these guys, but not all of their styles will fit you, or even will fit the Philippine setting.
Yes.
So try to figure out who you want to follow or who you want to sort of emulate, and then go from there.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So on to our last question, sir. Maraming salamat pala.
Sure.
All right. So right now we are in a health pandemic. If you had a message to the world and everyone could hear it, what would it be?
Well, I think what I'm going to say is what I would like to think many people think of. And this is actually a war. We are in a war now that no bullets are being shot, missiles. There's no soldiers that are going around. But this is really a war. I mean, people are dying. I mean, in the US alone, there have been over 100,000 deaths. And that's more than the Vietnam War. Can you comprehend that? That's more than the Vietnam War. So there have been wars that have been fought that less people have died. So what's happening now is actually worse. So for me, when you look at the business, for me, business is secondary. It's more the people's lives. That's why for the first month of operation of the lockdown, we really told our staff to just stay in the house, and we don't know how contagious this thing is. I mean, the way they were talking about it, it's like it was so contagious na. So we were all scared for our personal health and our staff's health. So we continued paying them a full salary. But when we realized that, maybe we can start going to work on a part-time basis, we started doing that maybe 4 weeks ago. Now, we're asking the production team to go to work 3 to 4 days a week. No? But I think more than anything, it's we have to all look after our health. We have to follow what the government is saying in terms of staying home and not, mingling with so many different people. Even people delivering the food to your house, try to minimize, um, sort of interaction with other people. So this is a pandemic that it's hard to imagine what's going to be happening the next few weeks, the next few months, or even the next couple of years. So I think rule number one is just look after yourself and look after your health. So that's and you survive this thing and you're already ahead. You ang dami ko nang kilalang namatay. Diba? So just be careful. And I mean, I know the business is important, but for me, the health is more important, because if my people start going, or if I go, then what happens now, right? So let's just get through this. Let's try to get through this as least painful as possible, and then we'll just go from there and adjust from there. So just everybody, just be careful and take care of your health.
All right. Maraming salamat, sir. All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, sir, for giving us a few minutes of your time. Maraming
Sure.
salamat. I know you're a very busy person. Now,
Thank you
before
for having me.
yeah, thank you. So before we end, do you want to share anything? Do you want people to check out your website, your links, or
Yeah.
you want people to invite people to become community resellers for Carmen's Best?
Yeah. Well, our website is carmensbest.com. We also have an Instagram page, which is Carmen's Best. But we have a new line of alcohol-infused ice cream called J&M. And J&M stands for my two sons, Jaime and Mikey.
Oh.
So the alcohol-infused, which is J&M, is a new line of ice cream which we launched just a few months ago, December. And before the lockdown hit, we were really selling the ice cream already to our resellers and whatnot. So hopefully we can go back to normal operation and start selling it again. But if you guys get to try the alcohol infused ice cream, it's really different. It's really good.
Okay.
So hopefully you follow us in Facebook and in Instagram and just get updates. With regards to resellers, feel free to ask us how you can be part of the team and sell Carmen's Best Ice Cream. And we can go from there.
All right. So maraming salamat once again.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.
And good luck. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
So,
Take care.
alright, so medyo late lang dumating yung ice cream. Pero here it is, I got 3 flavors. First one is dark chocolate kasi gusto to ng mom ko. Ito is brown butter almond brittle. And ito yung sinabi ni Sir Paco na alcohol infused. Ito yung J&M. First up, dark chocolate. So ayun, right. Very thick, very creamy. Wow, sobrang dense. Sobrang sarap. Makikita nyo dyan. Very milky, very creamy. The brown butter almond brittle. Okay. Yun. Ganda. Sarap. Wow. Sarap. So may parang crunchy texture, parang nougat siya. Tapos may caramel. Hindi ako food expert guys, so basta try nyo. Ito sa favorite ko so far. The J&M Foes ba? Irish coffee. So I've never had alcohol infused ice cream, so try natin. Naughty and nice ice cream. So this is named after Sir Pacos' sons. Wow, sarap. You can taste a hint of the alcohol. I think it is whiskey. I think it's Irish whiskey. Try nyo guys, sobrang sarap nitong almond ay brown butter almond brittle. The best. So, yun. Promise ko kay Sir Paco, itatry ko siya today. That's it, guys.